On to week 6. Who do you start at running back? That tis the question. So let's go ahead and answer those questions. But before we do that, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead and leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content and become a bro and subscribe if you haven't already. I got a 7-round NFL 2020 mock draft coming out. Man, that's a mouthful. But I got that coming out next week, so be on the look for that. I'm going to highlight a lot of prospects as well as letting you know where I think your team's going to end the season. So be sure to come in, hate on that. It's much appreciated. But let's talk about running backs. Let's talk about the Thursday night game. We got the Giants. We got the Patriots, man. And honestly, for the Giants, the only start I would have in this game is Saquon. It looks like they've already said he's going to be a no-go this week. Wayne Gillman's coming off a concussion. We don't know if he'll be able to start, but I still won't start him. This Patriot defense is too fierce, too phenomenal. So if you're looking for a Giant running back to start, if it ain't Barkley, then you ain't going to start him. Patriots, though. Sony Michel, James White, they're both starts. Rex Burkhead, he's a sit, man. He's really only a... because they're really not bringing, like, he's only a start, I think, if James White or Sony Michel were to be out. Again, with Sony Michel, though, you get scared that they might get into this whole running back by committee approach again, but it doesn't look like that'll be the case. He's been getting a bulk of the work, so you could probably start him this week with a little bit of confidence. Now, let's talk about Washington versus Miami. And probably for the first time all year, Adrian Peterson, you are a start. Ooh, excuse me. They fired Jay Gruden. Sucks. I don't really think it was his fault. You know, he was in a bad predicament there. But interim head coach says they want to get back to running the football and run the football well. Well, it's a good week to do that because the Dolphins rank last at stopping opposing running backs. So I think he's a good start. Chris Thompson, I don't know. He's more of a pass catcher. So he really only sees a lot of his points in either when they're behind or, basically when they're behind or in garbage time. So he is a sit. And Dolphins, don't start nobody, man. You can't trust the Dolphins. You can't trust them. Kenyon Drake, it seems to be the only guy that you may be able to rely on, and he's not going to go off. Mark Walton looks like he has jumped Kalen Ballage on the depth chart. He's still not a start. Panthers versus the Bucks. I don't like Ronald Jones. I don't like Peyton Barber. I don't like them as starts. Go ahead and sit those guys. The Panthers are pretty good at run defense. As far as the Panthers, Christian McCaffrey, of course, he's a start. Granted, the Bucks are third against opposing running backs, but Christian McCaffrey does so much for that offense, not just as a rusher, but as a pass catcher, that he's a must start. But you got his backup, man, Reggie Bonifon, I think is how you say his name. He only saw time because Caffrey had cramps, so he's not. He shouldn't be on your roster. Seattle versus Cleveland. Chris Carson, you are a start. Nick Chubb, you are a start. Nick Chubb, it's got a tough task. The Seahawks, they're 11th against opposing running backs, but he is honestly their only source of offense, so he is a start. Chris Carson, I'm not afraid of Rashad Penny right now. If Carson has a fumble, man, he might start losing carries, but right now I start him with a lot of confidence. Houston versus Kansas City. Carlos Hyde is, like I said, I've been saying this all year. He gets the most carries, and he gets the most carries on that offense. He sees a little work as a pass catcher, but Houston, they don't throw to their running back, so that's not a thing. Chiefs, they're 23rd against opposing running backs, so I think Carlos Hyde's not a bad start. Duke Johnson, like I said, they don't pass to their running backs, so he is a sit in this matchup. He probably a sit for the rest of the year. Kansas City, though, they got a dilemma, man. Damian Williams, he literally saw all of the carries, man. All of the carries. He's a start. The Texans, they're 19th against opposing running backs. So, Damian Williams looks like he is the workhorse there, which is weird. Shady, he only had 2 receptions, then he had a fumble, and it looks like Darrell Williams started taking all his snaps. So it's wild. I don't like Darrell Williams as a start. Just because I'm so unsure right now where the depth chart, like where they are. Where is it Williams McCoy or is it McCoy Williams? Like, I don't know, so I won't start either of those running backs. Philadelphia. I don't know why I said it like that. Philadelphia versus Minnesota. Man, Minnesota, they're a tough team against opposing running backs. I don't like either Miles Sanders or Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard has kind of become the lead back in this team. They are still splitting carries, but Jordan Howard gets the red zone work. So you're left with Miles Sanders. You're hoping he maybe break off a big run. So yeah, I don't like either of these guys though in this matchup. Dalvin Cook, he's probably, outside of Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the league right now. He's really playing like it. Tough matchup. Philadelphia, they're 4th against opposing running backs, but this offense goes through Cook. Don't fool yourselves. He's just as viable in the pass as he is in the run game. So start Cook. Alexander Madison, only if Cook were to go down is Madison a start. New Orleans versus Jacksonville. Talking about a guy on a tear, man. Leonard Fournette. He has been a monster. They are feeding him like he is starving. I love it. Tough matchup. Saints are pretty good against the run, but Jaguars, to establish their offense, they are going to try to run the ball. And I'm just going to tell you, Fournette, even if he doesn't produce, he's going to see a lot of volume. I like to bank on guys that get a lot of volume because that's a lot of opportunity. Alvin Kamara, he's always a start. Latavius Murray doesn't see the field much more. But it's a good matchup for Kamara. The Panthers. Jaguars haven't been that good against opposing running backs. They're 26. So Kamara is a good start. Bengals versus the Ravens. Man, Joe Mixon. Yeah, he's a start. He is a start. Giovanni Bernard, in case you were wondering, he is not. He just doesn't get the opportunity. Baltimore, they're 17th against opposing running backs, so they're middle of the pack. But Joe Mixon, I would say he's running back 2. He's running back 2 right now. Mark Ingram, though, he's playing like a running back 1, and that should not stop in this game because the Bengals are 31st against opposing running backs. Sign me up. He is a running back. There's your running back 1. Gus Edwards, he kind of falls in line with Giovanni Bernard. He doesn't get the opportunity, so don't even. Much more interesting game when it comes to running backs, though. You got the Rams versus the 49ers. Todd Gurley, I think he is a start. They want to get him more involved. They know he's kind of unhappy with his current role. Granted, the 49ers are a banger of a defense right now, but they will feed Gurley. I think Malcolm Brown, he's been irrelevant since week 1. Now, for the 49ers, though, Raheem Mostert, you probably could sit him unless Beretta or Coleman get hurt. Both of these guys got a lot of work. I would be comfortable starting both of them. The Rams, they're not that great against the run, so I would be very content with both these guys as starts. Atlanta versus Arizona. Devontae Freeman, man, he just ain't doing it as a running back. The only thing keeping his stock high are touchdowns. He's so touchdown dependent, and he's still viable in the pass game, but man, he's been a big letdown. I would say he's a start this week. It's a tough matchup against Arizona, but like I said, as a pass catcher, he's still viable. Ito Smith, though, the dude's touchdown dependent. I'm not going to rely on that. As far as Arizona, David Johnson, man, he's been doing it all, man. He has been doing it all as a pass catcher, as a runner, man. He has been really good. Tough matchup against that defensive line. Granted, it's more so a reflection on the offensive line of Arizona's. It's really bad, but Atlanta, they're pretty good at limiting opposing running backs. But like I said, he's such a threat in the pass game. You got to start David Johnson. Chase Edmonds, only if Johnson were to go down. Dallas versus the Jets. Both these running backs are basically starts. Ezekiel Elliott, Le'Veon Bell. drafted these guys in the first round probably, so you almost have to start them. They got decent matchups as the Jets. They're so against the run, and the Cowboys are a little worse than the Jets are. So I think they're both fine starts this week. And then let's talk about the Sunday night game, the Steelers versus the Chargers. Jalen Samuel, man, I was so wrong about Jalen Samuel. I thought it was really going to be a split like running back by committee. It is not. I don't think he is rosterable at this point. As far as James Conner, he hasn't really produced that well outside of that game against the Bengals. And then they face the Chargers, who are 15th against opposing running backs. James Conner really is a flex only play at this point. And then, ooh, man, Melvin Gordon is back in, and it has made things very complicated. I think Melvin Gordon is a start. The Steelers aren't the best against opposing running backs, but Austin Ekeler, I would sit him. He looked like he was really just used as a pass catcher only, and guess what? The only time the bulk of his catches last week were when they were down a lot and Denver was basically leaving the flats open. They were like, yeah, just throw short on us. Dink and dunk it down the field. Waste time off the clock. That's the only time Ekeler was actually valuable. And it sucks to say, man, but I think he's a sit this week. Now for the Monday night game, you got Detroit versus Green Bay. Kerryon Johnson, Aaron Jones. Both these teams' run defenses are among the worst in the league. You start both these guys. That's a no-brainer. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube stuff. It's much appreciated, much obliged. Don't forget, 7-round mock draft coming out next week. Yeah, but until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.